We're here to release the body-worn camera footage from the police officer-involved shooting that occurred on January 20th at Eastern Avenue and the I-95 North Ramp. We understand that any use of force can prompt significant public concern and scrutiny. We remain open to continued dialogue with our community and the many partners as we work to maintain transparency and confidence. The Attorney General's office, in coordination with our department, will conduct a full, detailed, and transparent investigation. Before I turn it over to DC Nadeau, what you're going to see in this video could have been completely avoided had the suspect just complied with the demands of the officers. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Deputy Commissioner Nadeau.
Good afternoon. As the Commissioner stated, we're going to release the body-worn camera videos, which shows the police officer-involved shooting that took place on Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 at approximately 9:25 p.m. Following our body-worn camera release policy, the videos have been shared with the Attorney General's office and the Baltimore Office of Equity and Civil Rights. To put some context into what you're about to see, on Tuesday, January 20th, officers received a call for an armed person at the 6800 block of Bank Street. The person was described as a black male wearing a mask, blue jeans, and riding a white bike. Officers canvassed the area and then located the male near the I-95 southbound ramp by Eastern Avenue. Officer Andrew Frias exited his patrol vehicle and began to approach the male who was riding the white bike. The male turns, looks at him, and then continues to ride away. The officer pulls him from the bike and attempts to control him on the ground. He is assisted by other officers who arrive. During that time, the male is able to discharge his .357 Taurus revolver one time. Officers step back away from him, and Sergeant Carlos Arias and Officer Edwin Ruiz discharge their firearms, striking the male. Officers on scene provide medical attention to the individual, however, he is pronounced deceased at the scene. The male is identified as Jamal Muse, 40 years old, of Baltimore. The videos you are about to watch are from body-worn camera videos. The officers' names are located in the bottom right-hand of the screen. For informational purposes, all officers that are involved in these types of incidents are assigned to administrative duties, which is our protocol, and have been referred to our health and wellness program. We'll now show the video. The first video you're going to see is the officers looking for the individual. They eventually spot him and try to get him to pull over.
Somebody mentioned description, it's going to be 6500 Eastern Avenue. What's your planning on this place? 6500 Eastern Avenue from McDonald's. On a white bike, black hoodie, black pants, white shoes, white hoodie. We got 2 units over here. The guy's on the bike and he's pulling off. Ramos, stay on him, bro. Stay on him. He's going down Eastern. He's on the 6600 block of Eastern Avenue, going east. He's on one. So. He's going the wrong way, going 95. So, right? Yeah, look fine.
Why are you trying to grab me? Stop. What I'm Stop. Stop. I did nothing. Get off of me, stop right there. Stop. No, get off of me. What the fuck is grabbing me for, bro? I'm scared. I got his hand. I got his hand. Listen to me. No! Hey, shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired. Hey, he's next. I got his hand. Listen to me. No, no, shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired. No, hey, that's fine. Shot fired. Shots fired. Take a minute.
6600 Eastman.
Everybody get off.
6600 Eastman.
That's what. Everybody get off here.
Hey, we got shears. Let me get shears. Let me get shears.
As you can see, this is truly an unfortunate incident. The officers involved remain on routine administrative leave and have been referred to our Officer Safety and Wellness Program. Any use of force is never taken lightly by any of our members. At this time, we'll open it up to questions.
We'll start with Dan, then we'll go to Dariana and work our way to the back row.
Just trying to get an idea of that initial call for service over on Bank Street. What was reported and why was he being?
It was reported that he had committed an assault and was possibly armed, correct?
Yeah, it was a dispute at a residence where the occupant of the residence was trying to remove two people. He is connected to them. He pulled a firearm to assist. They called the police. He fled the scene.
Dariana? So, just based off of the video, did he, or do you all know if he accidentally or intentionally fired the weapon?
So that's a revolver. In order for a revolver to go off, you literally have to pull the trigger. It's about a 10 to 12 pound pull. So it'd be very I'm sorry. That's a revolver. On a revolver, it takes about a 10 to 12 pound pull to pull the trigger on a revolver. So it's very hard to accidentally shoot off a revolver. It was underneath him. The revolver would go front to back, so it's not a position where it could have accidentally gone off unless he actually pulled on the trigger.
And quite honestly, whether it was accidental or on purpose, he had every opportunity to show his hands. Instead, he reached for a gun and pulled the gun and tried to shoot one of my officers.
Alexa?
In the video, you hear the suspect say something along the lines of, I ain't do nothing, I'm scared. Do we hear the officer explain at all, and is that part of your investigation?
The officer has indication to believe that he's armed. At that point, once we take him to the ground and we get him into custody, we'll explain why we stopped him. But there's a lot of people in jail that said, didn't do anything too.
And can I clarify, did 2 or 3 officers return fire?
2.
2.
Tommy?
Can you talk about why we see a response like this? The whole reason they were going for him is because it was reported that he had a weapon, correct? Was it a harm to the community? Was he possibly a harm to the community?
Well, he had actually shown the weapon, and basically, when you show a weapon, an assault call. So we wanted to stop him and figure out what was going on. And unfortunately, when we tried to stop him, he tried to pull the gun and he fired a round.
We'll do one last round for one follow-up question. Dan? Dariana? How many times did the officers fire your weapons?
Each officer fired 6 rounds.
Alexa? Tommy?
Can you explain again, I'm so sorry, have you explain again what led up to this in front of the microphone for us?
Sure. The officers received a call to go to a residence. At the residence, there were 4 occupants. It was what turned out to be the victim, a woman, her daughter, and her daughter's husband. The woman was trying to get her daughter and husband to leave the residence. He pulled out a firearm on them to get them to leave the residence. They then called the police. Then he fled on his bike.
All right, one last question today.
Yes, so each officer knew that he was armed, because some seemed like they were a little surprised by shots being fired.
Well, they're fighting with an officer, fighting with an individual to try to get his hands. So the ultimate goal of the officer is to take the person into custody and then to recover the weapon. So the officers are trying to do that. I'm sure they were surprised when you have him almost in custody and all of a sudden the gun appears and he pulls the trigger and shoots. We were lucky in that video that none of our officers were shot.
All right, Alexa has one last follow-up, and this will be the last question.
What else can you tell us about the suspect, his history, or what do we know about him? Jamal Muse, is it M-U-S-E?
We know that he was prohibited from owning a firearm, and he had a firearm. I don't know much more about his criminal history.
And sorry, I'll let Tommy ask one last question.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I just wanted to ask, when it comes to the approach to this, the officer taking him off the bike, can you share your take on that? Was that the right move to take him off the bike? Is there another, what is the training of that?
Yeah, his goal in taking him off the bike was take him to the ground first so he can't escape any longer, because as you can see, he was riding around trying to get away from the officers. He went down the ramp to try to escape the officers and to go on the 95. The surprise that the officer took him to the ground is to basically get him to the ground, surprise him that we have him, try to get his hands in the cuffs, and then search him for the weapon. Unfortunately, you saw he struggled with the officers to try to take his hands. Had he simply complied with the demands of the officers, we wouldn't be having this press conference.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.